What's up, wealth builders? Andre Hennick here, and today we're talking about one of the most powerful wealth principles that nobody teaches in business school: strategic generosity. I'm going to show you how a wealthy woman invested in hospitality with zero expectation of return, and received returns so massive they literally defied natural law. Her name? The Shunammite Woman. And her story teaches us something revolutionary about wealth building in 2026. The highest ROI investments are often the ones where you're not calculating ROI at all. If you're ready to learn how generosity creates wealth in ways you can't predict or control, smash that subscribe button right now. Because what you're about to learn will completely transform how you think about giving, investing, and building relationships. Let's dive into this incredible story. Let me set the scene. There's a prophet named Elisha traveling around Israel doing ministry. He regularly passes through a town called Shunem. A wealthy woman there notices him and says to her husband, "I know that this man who often comes our way is a holy man of God. Let's make a small room on the roof and put in it a bed and a table, a chair and a lamp for him. Then he can stay there whenever he comes to us." Stop right there. This woman is wealthy. The text explicitly says so. She doesn't need anything from Elisha. She's not looking for a miracle. She's not trying to get something. She just recognizes a man of God and decides to invest in his comfort and ministry. She builds him a room, not just, "Hey, crash on our couch." She constructs an addition to her house, a private suite with furniture specifically for this traveling prophet. That's investment. That's generosity. That's strategic hospitality. This is principle number 1 for building wealth through generosity in 2026. Principle 1. Invest in people who can't pay you back. The Shunammite woman gave to someone who had nothing to offer her materially. Elisha was a traveling prophet. No salary, no wealth, no business connections. Just a man doing God's work. She could have invested her money in more land, more servants, nicer furnishings for herself, business ventures, anything that would generate direct financial return. Instead, she invested in hospitality for a profit. And this is where it gets interesting. In 2026, everyone calculates ROI before they give. If I donate to this charity, what tax deduction do I get? If I help this person, will they help me later? If I invest in this relationship, what's in it for me? That's transactional giving, not generous giving, and it misses the point entirely. Here's how the Shunammite woman's principle works in 2026. Support people doing kingdom work. The Shunammite woman recognized Elisha was doing God's work and supported it. In 2026, identify pastors, missionaries, nonprofit leaders, and ministry workers making eternal impact. Support them generously, not because they'll pay you back, because what they're doing matters eternally. Your money goes further in their hands than sitting in your investment account. Invest in people who can't reciprocate. Elisha had no wealth. In 2026, give to people who are broke, struggling, or starting out. Support the intern who can't help your career. Fund the single mom entrepreneur. Back the ministry that can't afford marketing. These investments have eternal ROI that compound forever. Create environments for fruitfulness. The Shunammite woman didn't just give money. She created a space where Elisha could rest, pray, and do his work effectively. In 2026, don't just give cash. Create environments where people can flourish. Maybe it's office space for a struggling entrepreneur. Childcare for a single parent trying to build a business. Paying for a course that develops someone's skills. Providing tools or resources that multiply their effectiveness. Give without expecting immediate return. She didn't say, "I'll build you a room if you bless me." She just built it. In 2026, the most powerful giving is when you never mention it to the recipient. Anonymous donations, quiet support, behind-the-scenes help. When you give without needing credit or return, God multiplies it in ways you can't orchestrate. Here's your first action step. Identify one person doing valuable work who can't pay you back. This week, give them something substantial. Money, resources, time, support. Don't tell anyone. Don't expect anything back. Watch what God does over the next year. Comment right now. I invest in kingdom work. Let's commit to eternal ROI investing. Principle 2. Recognize value before others do. The text says the Shunammite woman recognized that Elisha was a holy man of God. Nobody told her to honor him. She discerned his value before others recognized it. This is crucial. She didn't wait until Elisha was famous or proven. She saw something others missed and invested accordingly. In 2026, the biggest returns come from recognizing value early. Early stage investing in people. The Shunammite woman invested when Elisha was still traveling prophet, not yet legendary miracle worker. In 2026, the best mentoring, partnerships, and investments happen early. Support the entrepreneur before they're successful. Invest in the startup before it's valued at billions. Partner with the leader before everyone else wants to. Early recognition creates disproportionate returns. Spiritual discernment about opportunities. She knew Elisha was holy. That's discernment, not calculation. In 2026, some of your best financial decisions will come from spiritual intuition, not spreadsheets. You'll meet someone and think, I should help them, without logical reason. Do it. You'll see an opportunity that doesn't make business sense, but feels right spiritually. Take it. Discernment accesses returns that analysis can't. Value character over credentials. Elisha didn't have impressive credentials. He was Elijah's assistant. But the Shunammite woman saw his character. In 2026, invest in people of character, even if their resume is thin. Character compounds. Credentials fade. The person with integrity but no experience will eventually outperform the person with experience but no integrity. Act when others are skeptical. I guarantee the Shunammite woman's neighbors thought she was crazy building a room for a traveling prophet. In 2026, when you invest in people or opportunities that others mock, you often get the best returns. The crowd is usually wrong about value. Contrarian generosity wins. Your discernment exercise this week. Think about 5 people you know. Who has character and calling, but is currently overlooked or struggling? Write their names down. Pray about which one God wants you to invest in. Then do it without announcement. Principle 3. Create margin to be generous. Here's what's easy to miss. The Shunammite woman could afford to build a room. She was wealthy. She had margin. She wasn't living paycheck to paycheck wondering how to pay rent. Her financial position enabled her generosity. In 2026, if you want to be strategically generous, you need to build wealth first. Broke people can't build rooms for profits. Poor people can't fund ministries. Struggling people can't invest in others. This is important because sometimes Christians think wealth is evil and poverty is spiritual. That's garbage theology. The Shunammite woman's wealth enabled her generosity, which created greater blessing. How to build the margin for generosity in 2026. Live below your means. The Shunammite woman was wealthy, but not wasteful. She could afford to add a room because she wasn't blowing money on excess. In 2026, if you're spending 100% of your income, you have zero capacity for generosity. Cut your lifestyle to 70 to 80% of income. Use the margin for giving and investing. Build multiple income streams. Wealth creates options. In 2026, salary alone won't create generosity margin. Build side income. Create passive income. Develop assets that generate cash flow. The more income streams you have, the more you can give without feeling it. Invest for growth. The Shunammite woman's wealth suggests she invested her money wisely. In 2026, money sitting in checking accounts creates zero generosity capacity. Money invested in appreciating assets creates exponential capacity. Invest aggressively now so you can give generously later. Delay gratification. Building a room for Elisha meant not spending that money on something for herself. In 2026, every dollar you give is a dollar you don't spend on yourself. The ability to delay personal gratification is essential for strategic generosity. Buy the used car, not the new one. The difference funds someone's dream. Here's your margin building plan. Calculate 20% of your current income. That's your target generosity fund. Work toward being able to give away 20% while still saving, investing 20%, and living on 60%. It might take years to get there, but start moving toward it. Principle 4. The return comes in unexpected forms. So Elisha is staying in this room regularly. One day, he asks his servant Gehazi, "What can I do for this woman?" Gehazi mentions she has no son, and her husband is old. Elisha calls her and says, "About this time next year, you will hold a son in your arms." She's skeptical, literally says, "No, my lord, don't mislead your servant." But a year later, she has a son. The thing she wanted most, but had given up hoping for, God provides it supernaturally through the prophet she blessed. But the story gets crazier. Years later, the son dies suddenly. The Shunammite woman runs to Elisha, and he raises the boy from the dead. Then, during a famine, Elisha warns her to leave the country. She's gone 7 years. When she returns, her land has been taken. She goes to the king to appeal, and Gehazi is literally, in that moment, telling the king about the Shunammite woman and the resurrection miracle. The king hears, is amazed, and immediately restores all her property, plus all the income from it for the 7 years she was gone. Are you seeing this? She gave hospitality to a prophet. She received 1. A son she couldn't naturally have. 2. Her son resurrected from death. 3. Supernatural warning about famine. 4. Divine timing that recovered all her property. 5. 7 years of back income. That's not ROI, that's supernatural multiplication. In 2026, this principle is powerful. Don't limit God's returns. The Shunammite woman gave a room. She didn't get a better room back. She got a son. In 2026, when you give generously, don't expect God to bless you in the same category. Give money, receive opportunity. Give time, receive connections. Give resources, receive ideas. God's returns are creative and unpredictable. Returns often come later. The son didn't come immediately. The property restoration came years later. In 2026, your generous investment today might not pay off for 5 to 10 years. But when it does, it pays off massively. Don't evaluate generosity on quarterly returns. Think in decades. God protects generous people. The Shunammite woman received warnings and supernatural interventions that protected her wealth. In 2026, I've seen this repeatedly. Generous people experience coincidences and luck that protects them from disasters, missed flights that crash, deals that fall through right before market crashes, jobs that seem like setbacks but protect from catastrophe. God guards generous people. Testimony creates favor. When Gehazi was telling the king her story, she showed up. That timing created favor. In 2026, your generosity creates testimonies that speak for you in rooms you're not in. People talk about generous people positively. That reputation opens doors you never knocked on. Your expectation adjustment. Stop calculating what you'll get back from giving. Start expecting God to surprise you with returns you never imagined in forms you didn't request at times you didn't expect. That's faith-based generosity. Principle 5. Involve your spouse in generosity decisions. Notice the Shunammite woman says to her husband, "Let's make a small room." She doesn't unilaterally decide. She brings him into the conversation, and he agrees. This is crucial for married people building wealth in 2026. Aligned generosity is powerful. When couples are aligned on giving, unity releases blessing. Jesus said, "Where 2 or 3 agree, there he is." In 2026, when you and your spouse agree on generosity, you're accessing spiritual power that individual giving doesn't have. Fight for alignment on giving. It's worth it. Prevents resentment. If she'd built the room without discussing it, her husband might have resented it. In 2009 box, unilateral giving creates marriage tension. Discuss big generosity decisions. Get on the same page. When you both support it, giving becomes joyful instead of contentious. Doubles the discernment. 2 sets of eyes see opportunities one person misses. In 2026, if you're married, your spouse might recognize needs or opportunities you overlook. Listen to each other. Often, one spouse has stronger generosity intuition in certain areas. Models generosity for kids. Their household was characterized by generosity. In 2026, when your kids see both parents excited about giving, they learn generosity is normal. That's generational wealth beyond money. It's wealth of character. If you're married, your assignment: have a generosity conversation this week. Questions to discuss. What percentage of our income should we give? Who or what should we support? What opportunities for generosity excite both of us? How can we involve our kids in giving? Get aligned, then act together. Principle 6. Hospitality is a high-return investment. Let's zoom out on this principle. The Shunammite woman's investment was hospitality, not just cash. She opened her home, created space, and provided ongoing support. In 2026, hospitality is one of the most underrated wealth-building strategies. Hospitality creates deep relationships. Having someone in your home creates intimacy that coffee meetings never will. In 2026, if you want deep business relationships or mentorship, invite people to dinner, host gatherings, open your home. The relationships formed over meals and in homes create opportunities that networking events never do. Hospitality reveals character. The Shunammite woman's character was on display every time Elisha stayed there. In 2026, when you host people, they see who you really are. If your character is solid, hospitality accelerates trust. If it's not, hospitality exposes it, which is good, better to know early. Hospitality is scalable. Start small, coffee in your home, scale to dinners, then overnight guests, then regular hosting. In 2026, you don't need a mansion to practice hospitality. You need willingness. A studio apartment can host game nights. A small house can host dinners. Space is not the constraint, generosity is. Hospitality multiplies influence. When people experience your generosity personally, they become your biggest advocates. In 2026, the Shunammite woman's story spread. Gehazi told the king, "Hospitality creates testimonies that amplify your influence far beyond what marketing ever could." Your hospitality challenge. This month, host something in your home. Dinner for friends. Game night for neighbors. Bible study for co-workers. Coffee for a mentor you want to learn from. Don't wait for the perfect house or perfect circumstances. Start now with what you have. Principle 7. Generosity creates legacy beyond your lifetime. The Shunammite woman's story is recorded in Scripture and has inspired millions for 2,800 years. Her generosity literally created eternal legacy. In 2026, your generosity doesn't just affect you. It creates legacy, financial legacy. Generous people leave more than just money to their kids. They leave a model. In 2026, your kids will remember how you treated servers at restaurants, how you responded to people in need, how you prioritized giving in your budget. That behavioral legacy is more valuable than the dollar amount you leave them. Spiritual legacy. The Shunammite woman partnered with God's work through Elisha. In 2020, when you support ministry, missions, and kingdom work, you participate in eternal fruit. The people reach through the ministry you funded? That's your eternal legacy. Cultural legacy. Generous people change cultures. In 2026, when you give generously in your workplace, neighborhood, or industry, you shift the culture toward generosity. You give others permission to be generous. Culture change is legacy. Testimony legacy. The Shunammite woman's story inspired this video, which will inspire thousands. In 2026, your generosity creates stories that outlive you. The single mom you helped who starts a successful business. She'll tell that story forever. The missionary you funded who reaches thousands. Your name is written in their story. Your legacy question. Imagine it's 50 years from now. You're gone. What do you want people to say about your generosity? They gave when they had plenty, or they gave even when it cost them. They helped people who could help them back, or they helped people who couldn't reciprocate. They calculated every gift, or they gave with reckless faith. Your generosity today determines your legacy tomorrow. Choose wisely. Let's recap the Shunammite woman's hospitality ROI principles for 2026. 1. Invest in people who can't pay you back. Eternal ROI beats temporal ROI. 2. Recognize value before others do. Early investment creates disproportionate returns. 3. Create margin to be generous. Build wealth so you can give wealth. 4. Returns come in unexpected forms. Don't limit God's creativity. 5. Involve your spouse in generosity. Alignment releases power. 6. Hospitality is high-return investment. Open homes create deep relationships. 7. Generosity creates legacy. Your giving outlives you. The Shunammite woman built a room for a prophet expecting nothing back. She received a supernatural son, resurrection of that son, divine protection during famine, complete property restoration, 7 years of back income, eternal testimony. That's not ROI. That's God multiplying generosity. You can experience the same in 2026, but you have to give without calculating. You have to invest in people, not just portfolios. You have to trust God's math, not just spreadsheet math. Here's what I need from you. 1. Subscribe for weekly biblical wealth and generosity strategies. 2. Comment, what's one way you'll practice strategic hospitality this month? 3. Share this with someone who needs to understand generosity ROI. 4. Download the Hospitality Investment Planner, link in description. 5. Join our Biblical Wealth Builders community. Next week, we're covering Lydia's purple trade business, how she dominated a niche market and became the first European Christian businesswoman. If you're in business or entrepreneurship, you can't miss it. Remember, The Shunammite woman didn't build wealth to hoard it. She built wealth to host it. She created margin to create impact. Your wealth is a tool for generosity. Your home is a tool for hospitality. Your resources are tools for kingdom work. Stop hoarding. Start hosting. Stop calculating. Start giving. This is Andre Hennick, and I'll see you in the next video. Now go be strategically generous.